ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਹੋਈ ਆਪਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਸਿੰਦੂਰ, ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਚੱਲਦਿਆਂ ਲੈਫਟੀਨੈਂਟ ਜਨਰਲ K.J.S ਢਿੱਲੋਂ ਨੇ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੀ ਡੀਪ ਸਟ੍ਰਾਈਕ ਦੇ ਰਾਜ਼ ਖੋਲ੍ਹ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਨੇ। ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਅਮਰੀਕਨ ਡਾਇਸਪੋਰਾ ਐਸੋਸੀਏਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪੋਟੋਮੈਕ ਮੈਰੀਲੈਂਡ ਵਿਖੇ ਕਰਵਾਈ ਗਈ ਇੱਕ ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ਼ ਸਮਾਗਮ, ਜਿਸ ਦਰਮਿਆਨ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਫੌਜ ਦੇ ਰਿਟਾਇਰਡ ਲੈਫਟੀਨੈਂਟ ਜਨਰਲ K.J.S ਢਿੱਲੋਂ ਦੀ ਬਹੁਚਰਚਿਤ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਆਪਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਸਿੰਦੂਰ ਦਾ ਸਫਲਤਾਪੂਰਵਕ ਉਦਘਾਟਨ ਹੋਇਆ। ਇਸ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੀ ਸਰਹੱਦ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਵੜ ਕੇ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ ਗੁਪਤ ਡੀਪ ਸਟ੍ਰਾਈਕਸ, ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਫੌਜ ਦੇ ਜਵਾਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਹਾਦਰੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਕਈ ਕਹਾਣੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਬਰੀਕੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਿਆਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਸਮਾਗਮ ਦੇ ਦਰਮਿਆਨ ਲੈਫਟੀਨੈਂਟ ਜਨਰਲ ਢਿੱਲੋਂ ਨੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੁਲਾਕਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਦੇ ਅਹਿਮ ਪਹਿਲੂਆਂ ਤੇ ਚਰਚਾ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੀ ਰਾਸ਼ਟਰੀ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਤੇ ਫੌਜੀ ਲੀਡਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਤੇ ਚਾਨਣਾ ਪਾਇਆ। ਇਸ ਸ਼ਾਨਦਾਰ ਸਮਾਗਮ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਸਿੱਖਸ ਆਫ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ, US ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਲਾਇੰਸ ਅਤੇ ਗਲੋਬਲ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਡਾਇਸਪੋਰਾ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਰਗੀਆਂ ਨਾਮਵਰ ਸੰਸਥਾਵਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਵਿਸ਼ੇਸ਼ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਵੱਡੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ 'ਚ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਸੀ ਭਾਰਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ਿਰਕਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਲੇਖਕ ਦੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਦਸਤਖਤ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ ਕਿਤਾਬਾਂ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ।
Very proud moment as a American Indian and as a Sikh to be here today to welcome Sardar Sahab Kamaljeet Singh Dhillon Sahab, Lieutenant General. We're so proud of you. Welcome, sir. सबसे पहले जयकारा तो अगर हम चलेंगे बोले सोनिहाल सत श्री अकाल। So when we look at you, when we see you on TV, when we are seeing you in several places, we feel so proud. And today I see you, your towering personality, your height, like your weight, and I don't understand where this tiny word came from, because as tiny as towering your personality is, that's how towering your career has been. 4 decades serving the nation, which in our corps, one of the most elegant corps in Indian Army. And today when we talk about Article 370, when we talk about peace in Kashmir, I think the real man behind that is amongst us. So we thank you for all that. Also the Pulwama attack, bringing the culprits to real justice and catching them. I think you were exemplary, and we really feel proud of you. And when we think about Army, we always think about bombs going on and tanks and firings and snipers and blood. But there's another thing that General Saab did in Kashmir, which is, legendary with Sikh faith, where we have martial, doctrine. We also have a forgiveness doctrine. And General Saab started Operation Ma in Kashmir, which was involving the mothers to convince their children who have been radicalized to come back into the mainstream. So we salute that too, that you are bringing the youth back into mainstream. Extremely proud of you. And today on behalf of Sikhs of America, we would like to honor you.
Good evening, Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, Adab, Jai Hind. And thank you everyone present here today and giving me this opportunity to speak to you. I particularly would like to say good evening to Admiral Bhartan, Brigadier Sharma, the serving Indian military attaché here, the veterans, Jassi Singh ji, Adappa ji, Mr. Rakesh Malhotra, and all the community leaders and the wonderful people who came up and sang some nice patriotic songs, they touch your heart. All these songs which were sung on the stage today, we all have grown up listening to these songs, and they are so much part of our heartbeat and the Indianness which stays within our hearts. So thank you very much once again, and today evening sparing your time to come out and be present here. And today also is the week of India's independence. We just celebrated 80th independence, and I would also like to remember the freedom fighters who fought for the freedom, and the freedom which gave us the right to be sitting here the way we are sitting here today. I also, with prayer on my lips, pride in my heart, salute all the soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice to keep that freedom alive. Freedom once gained has to be kept alive, and all the soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice, all the families which was talked about of the soldiers, our Veer Naris, their contribution, that dedication to the nation. And most importantly, the unknown soldier who never got recognized for his sacrifice or his contribution in freedom, in maintaining the freedom, and more importantly, in nation building. So thank you everyone once again. And as a diaspora outside India who carries within your hearts the nationhood, the Indianness, the Bhartiyata which we talk about, the feeling of being proud Indian and the way India is growing in all fields, I think your contribution, especially in the countries as important as United States of America, your representation here and your acceptance in this society and the contribution you make to American society and the contribution you make to India as a nation which is growing and which is developing. So thank you very much once again, all the Indians here, all the Americans here. You may be carrying a different color passport, but dil mein tiranga hi hai. You got to accept that. So thanks a lot for that. And a wonderful evening. I had a wonderful stay for last about 15 odd days in the USA. This is, I think, my third or fourth visit here. And we'll come back again. And talking about Operation Sindoor per se, a mention was made of Pulwama, a mention was made of Uri, and of course there was a description and there was a poem sung by Ms. Pooja on Pahalgam and Operation Sindoor. When Uri happened in 2016, it was a single service retaliation. That means army only carried out the surgical strikes as we know it. It was a shallow depth from the line of control, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and it was a single night operation. Single service, single night, a limited depth. And when Pulwama happened, I happened to be the corps commander in Kashmir that time, and we neutralized that module within 100 hours. And when the Balakot strikes happened, that was a single service, only Air Force participated in that retaliation. And more important aspect of that retaliation was our fighters, the aircrafts, they crossed the line of control, they overflew Pakistan occupied Kashmir, the whole of it, and then they overflew the international boundary, and then went and bombarded Balakot inside proper Pakistan. Yeah. So they bombed Balakot inside Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of Pakistan and returned back safely. So that was the display or showcasing of the military might. When you overfly a country and then bomb deep inside and then get back the same night. So that was again a single service, only Air Force operation. When Pahalgam happened, the scale and the manner of this terrorist act was so gruesome, was so pathetic. When you kill the male members of the family in front of their wives, in front of their mothers, in front of the children, by lining them up and segregating them on the basis of the religion. That was the most gruesome of the cold-blooded murders which you can do. So this time, it was not a single service operation. This time it was the national resolve, political will, military might, diplomatic efforts, which combined together, and the complete comprehensive national power of nation was applied against Pakistan. The diplomats did their job in those 15 days between 22nd of April to 6th of May last year, and made sure that not a single country in the world would say that India is an aggressor. That was diplomatic efforts. Military might, of course, we will be talking about it. And then the economic might. Economists, the people who are making sure that you have the war effort and you can sustain the war effort if the war was to continue, if the war was to get extended, or the escalation ladder had to go up. So then the economic might was there behind the military to make sure they don't have to look back upon their shoulders. Political will was most important. Never after 1971 war, we have hit Pakistani Punjab. This was first time after 1971 war that we hit locations inside Pakistani Punjab and not merely Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, which has been a routine for last half a century plus. So that was the national resolve, political will, military might, economic strength, diplomatic efforts, which as a comprehensive national power was applied. And that's how I always say, nations go to war Nations go to war, militaries only fight on the borders. So every Indian contributed, even a teacher in the classroom contributed by telling the young minds that it's a just war which India is engaging in. ये धर्म युद्ध है. That is what it was. And dharm is not religion. Dharm is a duty of the nation to engage in war, to hit the culprits who have brought in so much of misery to the ladies and the women who lost their sons, who lost their husbands, who lost their parents. So it was from that point of view, it was a national resolve, national duty to engage in this war. And I'll just go over a little bit of how Operation Sindoor panned out. Is there a Q&A session also?
Yes.
Okay. We have a Q&A session, and you can ask your question. The two topics I don't discuss, politics and religion. So other than that, everything is possible. So, and that is the beauty of the Indian Defence Forces. We do not discuss these two subjects. And so those 15 days between 22nd of April and 6th of May, everyone was getting anxious, everyone was getting excited as to why we are not doing something, why the nation is not doing something. And if I may say, 15 days is a very little time to prepare for sort of an operation like this. First time in the history of the world, two nuclear powers were coming to war. This has never happened earlier. And preparation for a war like this or an operation like this, I think 15 days is the least amount of time. The diplomatic efforts I talked about, when you have to convince the whole world as to what you are going to do, 15 days is a very little time. When you have to prepare and hit a nuclear neighbor, and the way you have to move your assets, the military assets, the resources, the reserves, the logistics, the ammunition, the missiles, and the petroleum dumps and other things, rations, medicines, and be prepared for the escalation. 15 days was a too less a time. And when you have 700 or 1,000 odd terror targets or military targets in mind, which you have been preparing for, to cull it down to 9 targets, and then get the latest intelligence about those 9 targets. We in the military have always been looking at the enemy and targets which we can engage in different situations, in different contingencies. This hall may be one of the target, and when we have the information about it, I might be having the intelligence that it's a brick-lined walls. But if the intelligence is not updated, when we go and hit it, it might turn out that it's now reinforced concrete. So the latest intelligence about the target has to be achieved, has to be obtained. And that was achieved within these 15 days. The intelligence, like you would have all seen those photographs, where the dome of that Markaz is breached, the floor is breached, the missile goes inside the basement and explodes and kills the family of a terrorist. Now that type of intelligence, that dome is of so-and-so material, the floor is of so-and-so material, the 10 feet by 10 feet or whatever, 15 feet by 10 feet of basement is here. This is a lat long. And you fire from about 300 kilometers, target weapon matching. A missile which does not explode by hitting the dome. It does not explode by hitting the floor. It only explodes when it's inside the basement. To have something like this, 15 days is too less. And to get the intelligence about the layout of the target, the profile of the target. There have been, I can just share a little bit, the municipality maps or the municipality blueprints were obtained to get to know exactly what is the target like. That is the type of work which was done in these 15 days. So anyone who felt that 15 days is too late, we are not doing something, let me assure you as a military man, it was too less a time and we did too many things and achieved precision. None of our missiles could be intercepted. All missiles hit their terror targets point blank. And there is another lesson, how to start a war and how to finish a war. You are attacking a nuclear neighbor. The military aim, the political aim, the national goal has to be very clear. The end state you want to achieve, when you say, okay, I achieved my national goal, has to be very clear. And the exit strategy, after you have achieved your end state and your aim, how to get out of this war has to be very clear. All these things have to be thought about before you enter the conflict. And the day we hit those terror targets, the 6th, 7th May night, the military headquarters, there is a site of ours, the Twitter handle ADGPI, it said 4-5 things. It said Operation Sindoor, that is the first time the name came out, the logo came out. It said Operation Sindoor, justice is served. We have hit only the terror targets. We have not hit any military installation. We have not hit any civilian areas. And we do not want escalation. Now this was the national aim, the end state which we wanted. And then after that, when Pakistan retaliated. Now I'll give you a similarity. After 9/11, when America went into Abbottabad, picked up Osama bin Laden, that was not an act of war. That was a retaliation to a terror attack of 9/11. Similarly, when we hit the terror targets without hitting any military or civilian areas, that was a retaliation to Pahalgam. That was not an act of war. When Pakistanis retaliated and killed our innocent civilians, unarmed civilians in Jammu, Poonch, Rajouri, Tangdhar, now that is an act of war. When they tried to hit our military installations, which they could not, that was an act of war. And finally, when we hit back on 10th, 11th May, 9th, 10th May night, and we hit their 11 air bases, and again, they could not intercept even a single missile of ours. Now that is the military might, that is the precision, that is the planning, that is how the nations go to war. And then when on 10th of May, when Pakistani Director General Military Operations called up Indian DGMO and begged for a ceasefire, we were in a position where we could have hit more. We could have hit and destroyed more of their military equipment. We could have destroyed more of their economic assets. But as a responsible nation, responsible government, responsible military, responsible economy, responsible nuclear power, we accepted that ceasefire because our goal was achieved, our aim was achieved. And there is a lesson which was being said that this operation is being studied in various military academies across the world. How to start a war and how to finish a war. In 4 days, to be precise, 88 hours, a nuclear power was made to beg for a ceasefire. Now that is how the wars are fought. That is how the nations go to war. That is how the militaries carry out the achievement of national aims, national goals. So there is a lot which has come into this perception management, narrative building. A lot of lies were told, a lot of lies are still being told, but that is the way the future wars will be. Narratives will precede the wars. Social media, internet will be used. Influences will be used. The media will be used to project a point of view to justify you engaging in war. And that's when later on they said, sorry, wo galti ho gaya. But it's not a galti, it's a considered approach of narrative building to get into a war. So this will happen in future also. It is up to you as clear-headed people that where should I decipher the truth and the untruth? Because there are no lies. It's either truth or it's an untruth. And when someone asks me, how do you handle the narrative building or perception management? My answer was, because Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed, everything is fair in love and war. Both mean the same thing. My answer was to how to build a narrative or how to fight a narrative or how to get into a perception management. It is your truth must come out before his lies come out. Your truth must come out before his lies come out, and your lies must come out before his truth comes out. That is also important. Because everything is fair in love and war. Ashwathama story we all know. So it's not that this is happening today. It has been part of warfare. It has been part of warfare and accepted form of warfare. So there is nothing to feel bad about it. Deception, surprise is part of the warfare. We are taught this in our academies. How to achieve surprise, how to achieve deception, how to conceal your intentions, how to conceal your assets. So this, and now the most important thing which has happened after this operation is a very clearly defined counter-terrorist strategy has been initiated. And that counter-terrorist strategy is, we will not as a nation differentiate between a terrorist who is carrying out the act, the organization or tanzeem who is supporting it, training it, equipping it, financing it, and the country in which the terrorism tanzeem is being flourished or being protected. India will not differentiate. The terrorist organization and the country supporting the terrorism, for us all three are terrorists, and we will deal with them the way we deem fit. So that is declared policy. So there is a lot happening, and the best thing about the whole thing is, we have gone into wars earlier, we have fought many wars in the past. Every time someone or the other always said that you are wrong. This war, the Operation Sindoor, nobody in the world said that you did a wrong thing, you are the aggressor. Everyone appreciated. Everybody in the world appreciated and accepted our right to self-defense. And this only happens when you are strong. If you are not strong militarily, economically, politically, and otherwise, people will find faults with you. Only the strongest people, they get away with this, that you have a right to defend yourself. So your contribution on India being strong is accepted, is appreciated, and is very much there. I'll stop here.
Bharat Mata Ki Jai! Bharat Mata Ki Jai! So first and foremost, we are very honored to host Lieutenant General K.J.S. Dhillon, जिन्होंने किताब लिखी है ऑपरेशन सिंदूर, और उसका आविष्करण है आज। और पिछले साल हम सभी जानते हैं पहलगाम अटैक और ऑपरेशन सिंदूर, क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिस्ट घुस के इनोसेंट टूरिस्ट को वो भी धर्म पूछ के पहली बार हस्बैंड्स को मारा है, और वो हमारे बहनों का सिंदूर उजाड़ा है। और उसी सिलसिले आप बोले थे कि उन लोग ये चैलेंज किया, भारतीय गवर्नमेंट को चैलेंज किया कि जाके मोदी को बोल, तो मोदी जी ने बोल दिया है, उसका नाम ऑपरेशन सिंदूर यही रखा है, और उसको मारा है। स्कोर्स ऑफ टेररिस्ट वर किल्ड, और अब जानते हैं पूरा दुनिया में मिलिट्री एकेडमीज आर स्टडीइंग ऑपरेशन सिंदूर। और इससे ज़्यादा मैं नहीं बोलूँगा। एंड थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग Dhillon साहब। एंड देन वी हैव अमित शर्मा जी, हमारे उपस्थित ब्रिगेडियर अमित शर्मा जी, मिलिट्री अटैची एम्बेसी ऑफ इंडिया। एक बार वी हैव वाइस एडमिरल भरतन जी फ्रॉम नेवी। भरतन जी। We have Commodore Soni ji from Navy. We have Commodore Sohi ji from Navy. And we have Colonel P.C. Sharma ji from Army. And we have Squadron Leader Neha Chaudhary ji, retired Indian Air Force. आजकल वो यहीं पर है, जॉर्ज मेसन से MBA की है। So thank you all for coming, and first and foremost I thank every one of you for taking time out and coming here. Thank you.